morning, Mr. White. Good morning, Maggie. So, what do you think is going to happen today, Saw? Yesterday's session didn't go so well, and on a giant mystery. That's true. We still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt. That was determination. I know I believe you. It's nearly time, Maggie. Gotta get going to the defendant seat. Water, don't let me down, Mr. White. I'm counting on you. Hey, pal! Hey, take the gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. How did you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. So a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this will help. Huh? You taking up aromatherapy too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in Trespin Kitchen a couple of days ago. Wow, look at all these little bottles. Oh, the aromatherapy oils. It's got so many that overflowing onto the floor. Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others. Oh, what do you know? It doesn't have a label either. And it doesn't smell. Finally got the analysis result back from the lab. So, what is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. Medication? Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean, yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elg was using for his rubs with the eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour, and they might have gotten something on the prints, but it's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure that your defense is impregnable today. Got it? Impenetrable, I think. Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done. My name isn't Phoenix White. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Boy. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The ward, you see, keeps turning, and you must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you resolve these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles? The old guy wasn't just throwing seeds in here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well. let the first witness take the stand. And you are? Oh, bonjour, everyone. I am Armstrong, the owner and chef of La Trespin restaurant in Chumter. Forgive me for asking witness, but are you a woman? Oh, bonjour. As you can see, I am quite a pretty gentleman, no? On the day of the incident, you were in Trespin's kitchen. Isn't that right? Yes, you, monsieur. Everything feels right. Wow, he's really unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well. Your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Trespin. Oui, Wolf's... something in French, I don't know. When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new articles that day. Like having a large meal between the tables, for example. Really, that is what the old man was looking at. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses. It would have been everything in reverse, nah? He would have seen everything in reverse, nah? Mirror? Oui, a grand mirror. La most enormous mirror. And suddenly, the mystery disappears. Like I said, the word keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new article at the time of day. Like having a large meal between the tables, for example. Perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses, and would have seen everything in reverse, nah? Objection! The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD? Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens on his specs. No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactly. You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, it is not so hard, no? Unfortunately, that's when we went into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Order, order! This right is correct! If the witness generally observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we wouldn't expect the victim's earpiece to have been on over his right eye.
Objection!
How better? Right, you should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Oh, he talking about your coffee? Or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? You remember this, I presume? I booked a vase. Sorry, apologies. I mean, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony? Exactly. human has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. What's the most striking thing about Mr. L? Clearly, it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Egg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those new-fangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear? His left ear. Well tried. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever. Wow, I really thought he was old CD for a minute there. Good, that was good. Enough! I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a wash. A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, where exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of la restaurant. Oh, is it everyone sitting comfortably? La mirror, it was the limit of la restaurant dividing the two apps. There is only one seat in which you could have seen an image of la victim. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After that terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. I see no problem with this. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty little confusing us and men like this. Don't worry about it. We can keep up. Except for the guy breaking out a cold sweat over there again. I hate that guy! You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror? Are you quite sure about that? Oh, sir, of course. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you please. La mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant dividing the two halves. There was only one seat from which you could have seen the image of the victim. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. Objection! This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that directly should not exist. I don't know what you mean by that, Mr. White. Should not exist? Sounds like you're describing yourself, Twite. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is the something that should not exist in this photo? Take that! I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have to do with this witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there's an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not in fact sitting at the table next to the victim at all.
Objection!
Don't be an idiot, Wright. That's impossible. He's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Trespan that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie.
Objection!
Don't try to confuse the court, Wright. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase. And the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Objection! Unfortunately, Mr. Kudo, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary in his own words. I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. Right in this on the vase. Turn back to your original problem. Why did the victim have a piece of meat in here? You only get one side in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, try. Then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? I can answer this. I'll be much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you going to be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction? There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. The victim was a phony. This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet there is one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. What? Yes! The victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Allen at all. It was an imposter. A phony pretending to be Mr. Allen. Honestly, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Order in the court, sir. Now clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What do you say? That's right. Are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretending to be Glenn Allen, yeah, and acted out the whole coffee poisoning, all for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo.
Objection!
Get real, Twilight. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was Savagor bought him a Davachino, but he put something in it. Mr. Savagor right there in the defendant's cell. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, but there was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bud in the act of poisoning the coffee.
Objection!
Are you insisting that the witness, the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but just knew that the chef was there, he would have noticed what was happening. That's right. Well, witness, the restaurant really was a scene of such theatrics. You would have known about it, correct? This was difficult for me.
Objection!
No, it's quite simple. All you had to do was testify you were under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony entrance bin that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tells the whole truth about what happened. The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. Ooh, wee. The victim, monsieur, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after. There was no other customers. When he got word and one of the knocking, Mr. Ellen became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for him to do the acting. Just so we're clear, there's no meal in the restaurant after all. Report and forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted the mess to be cleared up quickly. What you have done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I'll decide how to punish you later. Now we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. You took that perjury charge a bit too well. I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. The victim monsieur came to my restaurant alone. I live alone and arrived not long after him. My old man, you mean Mr. Victor Kudo, right? He comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special. I'll give you that. Took a sip just for the experience. Ooh, make me so happy, monsieur. You almost killed him from any time. I said it was one step and nothing more. So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant and wanted to take him as a victim. So you're saying that not much time elapsed between when the victim and Mr. Kudo arrived? That is correct. That still leaves the possibility of something happening in a gap of time. And by your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed? Approximately 2 minutes, I would say. 2 minutes? Approximately 5 minutes later, that poisoning incident occurred. There was no time for a phony reaction. Optimistic in this case, huh? Absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Evans and refused to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time after all. Right. Wouldn't Maggie have noticed too? People were cautious when the incident occurred, remember? You mean that's when the phony staged his act? So once I find a hole in his testimony. The victim, monsieur L, came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. Hold it! Correct? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh, I cannot remember, wants you. I believe you were told by a witness yesterday. Crime was reported at 2:25 by a kind of scary old man, sir. Documentary witness? Yes, I heard about 2 minutes after he arrived. The victim was at the 2 p.m. and 2:10, no? Just after 2, huh? My family wants you. You are wonderful. I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? Time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. Oh, that's just everything I do it for you. Let's say bye. That's friends, isn't it? Glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even having a stop for himself. Just after 2 p.m.
Objection!
I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. What do you mean? At the time of question, the victim was listening to the radio of his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. Wait, that must be the show Monster was listening to. I can't see a problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? I'm full of it. I remember it perfectly now. I knew it was the time because I just finished serving the lunch menu. So points right. You have one. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. It claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30? Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time! No! This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible! Listening to the radio with a working eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter acting out the poison 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elves interested in that day. The Glen Elves, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer. And the phony Glen Elves acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how would we spend the time?
Objection!
Quite a performance, right? You were almost on a roll. You lacked the walk-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this? Music Therapy 101? Let's recap. According to the imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony elf is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain then where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell it back to the court. However, at that time the real Glen Elg was already dead. So, obviously.
Objection!
Thank you, Wright. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I haven't seen you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. That customer was the phony Glen Elg. Then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? Ah! The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture tried. Let's hear some facts for once. So they caught a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. Evidence? What's with the intense question here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. Just turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead. Mr. Wright, caught one out here to defend his theory and evidence. Of course, there was the body and the real Mr. Ella concealed. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Trespin. Interesting. Where could a body have been hidden inside a Western? Perhaps you would care to show the quote on these plans, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed inside Trespin is... Take that! The body was hidden here! I see. I suppose that. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? Take that! Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No! I've never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. His highest quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. White? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Trespin. What? I only ever use the bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? Mr. Visit. Clinic and was given medication that day. You can't be serious. The defendant had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle matched the prescription that was given to Mr. L. Then I photo hid the body in the restaurant kitchen. At which time, this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, did you say you were in the kitchen? Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client Maggie Bard, however. You were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. No! Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenn Al? Never! I did not do such a horrible thing! Mr. Godot! Bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always drown a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. You have the size of how many cups you've had by now? Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chief. How about a brand new flavor in your ear? My H defiant friend. Please, you must steal me out. Please end the trap. Listen to me. Flavor. Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong. Mi povo is Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? No, absolutely no. Let's hear it. You've got one shot, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. As does my gavel. It's clear. They always say in the movies, got a bad feeling about this. Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. It's true. I hid the bathroom in the kitchen. And forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with it because there was a reason I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear you must believe me. You were forced? By who? I cannot say. I will be erased. Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Allen died, was he really the only person at his table? There was. There was another man. I knew it. He was telling the truth. Once he's done with the witness now, Mr. Wright. One more thing I need to do. Gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. It's true. I hid the body in the kitchen. Man forced me to do it. I had no choice.
Objection!
Let's end this dance of ring around the rosy, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man that you've been referring to. Who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom? This man is Theo Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tender Lender. There's no point in trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre. At least not while he had this on you.
Take that!
A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you to do. Wait, is as you say. So Armstrong. Tiger. On the day in question, it was meeting the victim's demands to repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and conscious Maggie out of the dining room area. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. I have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. Poison in the lottery ticket that were found by the tape imposters. Was that your doing as well? Oh, I knew nothing about that. I can't believe it was that you had done it. I was not. It is despicable. Mr. Godot, you were summoned as Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. 30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more. How the? Don't sit back and relax yet, Wright. No one knows if this chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. Once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess.